First, let me say you have the right to choose for you and your family whatever you decide. So the headline is that the FDA approved Pfizer's drug for COVID vaccine. Well, not necessarily a full approval. You see, the drug is still going through clinical trials, and most of y'all are the mass clinical trials. What the approval was is that it is approved for people 16 and older because they have now entered phase 3 of the clinical trials. And what it actually is saying that now they can start to do clinical trials on children who are 12 to 15 under the Emergency Use Act, Emergency Use Authorization. But the real question is, what does FDA approval really mean, and what are the phases? You see, phase 1 is whether or not a drug is actually effective on whatever it's trying to cure, and they start with a very small sample of very healthy people. Phase 2, which is what y'all just finished, is whether or not what is the effectiveness and efficacy of the drug. How many people does it kill? How many adverse effects does it have? Hitting the milestones of phase 2, which is what Pfizer just did, you then get to go into phase 3 where you get to test a larger group, expanding to those who are 16, expanding to those who are 12. But these are still done on relatively healthy people. They're not done on people who have immunodiseases and things of that nature, heart diseases and things like that. They are done on relatively healthy people. Now in this case, we're looking at a fast track of the approval of a drug because most drug trials last between 10 to 15 years, and then there's an additional 5 years of just watching to see what the general population, what their effects are. So do y'all remember Fen-Phen? Do you remember Zoloft? And my favorite, the drug company Merck, who had the drug Vioxx, to which they never reported all the people who had adverse effects. They only reported people who had a tolerance for the drug. Unfortunately, the FDA doesn't have the ability to truly scan all the information that comes from clinical trials, so they depend on CRAs who work for other companies to be able to get these drugs passed through and be able to monitor these drugs and hope that they give all the right information, but it depends on the money that's coming through. Speaking of money, do you know that there is a natural supplement, lactofen, that is produced in breast milk and can be extracted from cow milk? So don't go out there drinking a whole bunch of cow milk, because the dairy will cause you to build up mucus, and then virus and bacteria can live in mucus. But this over-the-counter supplement has shown great effectiveness against COVID-19, but they can't make no money off that. Did you know that a study that was done for 10 years, from 2002 to 2011, has shown that only two drugs showed breakthroughs, only 13 showed real advances, only 61 showed some advances, and only 918 showed little to no improvement, over 1,000